The maintenance bay of the GSS Sovereign hummed with the usual cacophony of starship repair, plasma torches hissing, hull plates clanging, and the multilingual chatter of a dozen different species working in controlled chaos. Cora wiped grease from her violet-scaled hands, her Zenthari biology making her naturally resistant to the chemical burns that plagued most organic mechanics. She'd been assigned to this sector for 3 cycles now, ever since graduating from the Galactic Marine Engineering Corps, and she'd seen plenty of veterans pass through these bays. But the old human in Bay 7 was different. He worked alone, always. While other mechanics traveled in teams, sharing tools and stories, the human kept to himself. His gray hair was cropped military short, and his weathered face bore scars that no modern medical technology should have allowed to remain. He wore a simple jumpsuit, no rank insignia, no unit patches, just a small faded number stitched on the breast pocket. 13. "Cora, you ever wonder about the old-timer?" Adam asked, sliding up beside her with a hydraulic wrench in his hand. Adam was human too, fresh out of basic training, all enthusiasm and curiosity. He'd only been on the Sovereign for 2 weeks. "The mechanic in 7? Cora's translator chip rendered her clicking speech into standard Galactic. "Command says he's civilian contractor, former military, that's all I know." "Former military," Adam repeated, watching the old man work. But which branch? Which war? There had been so many. Humanity's integration into the Galactic Council had been turbulent. 3 major conflicts in the last century alone. The question hung in the air as they watched him disassemble a damaged reactor core with practiced efficiency. His movements were precise, economical, the kind of muscle memory that came from thousands of hours of repetition under pressure. It was Lieutenant Krasix who finally asked. The Vorthian officer was massive, even by his species standards, nearly 3 meters of chitinous armor and combat-hardened muscle. He'd served in the border wars, fought against the Kresh incursion, and wore his decorations with obvious pride. When he strode into Bay 7 that afternoon, every mechanic in earshot stopped working. "Human." Krasix's voice clicked and buzzed. "I require that reactor core operational in 2 hours. Can you accomplish this?" The old man didn't look up from his work. 4 hours. Maybe 3 if you stop distracting me." Krasix's mandibles clacked with irritation. "I am a lieutenant in the Galactic Marines. You will address me with proper respect." Now the human looked up. His eyes were gray, cold as vacuum. "And I'm a mechanic doing his job. You want respect, earn it. You want that reactor fixed, leave me alone." The bay went silent. Nobody spoke to Krasix like that. The Vorthian took a step forward, his massive frame casting a shadow over the human's workstation. "You wear no rank, no unit insignia. What gives you the authority to speak to me this way?" "Nothing gives me authority," the old man said, returning to his work. "Just experience." "Experience?" Krasix leaned down, his face inches from the human's. "What unit did you serve with, old one? What makes you so confident?" The human sighed, setting down his plasma torch. When he spoke, his voice was quiet, almost gentle. "You really want to know?" "I demand it. IRON-13. The reaction was instantaneous. Krasix jerked back as if struck. His mandibles locked open in what Cora recognized as Vorthian shock. Around the bay, older veterans, species she didn't even recognize, stopped mid-motion. One Quellan engineer dropped an entire toolbox, the clatter echoing in the sudden silence. Adam leaned close to Cora. What just happened? She didn't know. Her database of military history was comprehensive, but she'd never heard that designation. Yet the terror in the veteran's eyes was unmistakable. Krasix backed away slowly, his entire posture transformed from aggressive authority to something approaching reverence or fear. You're one of them, I thought. The records said there were no survivors." Records were wrong. The human picked up his torch again. "There were 13 of us when we deployed. I came back, hence the call sign." 13 against... Krasix couldn't finish the sentence. "Against 40,000 Kresh shock troops, yeah." The old man's hands moved with steady precision. welding a circuit junction. Terra Nova colony. We were the only thing between them and 20,000 civilians. Couldn't evacuate. Couldn't retreat. So we didn't. Cora's translator struggled with the next exchange as multiple species began speaking at once, their voices hushed, almost reverent. She accessed the classified military database, using her security clearance to dig deeper than she'd ever gone before, and there it was, buried under layers of encryption, marked with every warning flag in the system. Operation Iron Wall, Terra Nova, 72 hours, 13 human soldiers, not Marines, not regulars, just volunteers from a colony defense force. They'd held a bottleneck pass against an army, using nothing but improvised weapons, salvaged ammunition, and what the report coldly termed unorthodox tactical solutions. The casualty reports made her stomach turn. The Creche lost 37,000 troops. The humans lost 12. One came back. The reactor, the old man said, breaking the silence. We'll be ready in 3 hours, Lieutenant. That acceptable? Yes. Krasix's voice had changed entirely. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. The Vorthian left quickly. Around the bay, mechanics slowly returned to work, but the atmosphere had fundamentally shifted. They gave Bay 7 a wide berth now, cast glances toward the old human with something approaching awe. Adam stood frozen, his face pale. 12 friends. He lost 12 friends. No, Cora corrected softly, finally understanding. He lost 12 soldiers who stood with him against impossible odds. That's why he works alone, why he doesn't wear insignia, why he stays silent. The old man, IRON-13, continued, his work as if nothing had happened, his hands steady, his expression neutral. But Cora noticed something she'd missed before. On the workbench beside him, partially hidden under a rag, sat a small hollow frame. 12 faces looked out from it, young and smiling, wearing the improvised armor of colonial militia. They were all human. They were all heroes, and they were all dead, except one. Cora turned back to her own work, but her mind churned with newfound respect. Humans, she'd learned, didn't become legends by seeking glory. They became legends by doing what needed to be done, paying whatever price was required and living with the weight of what they'd sacrificed. In the corner of Bay 7, IRON-13 worked in silence as he always did, as he always would, until the next impossible fight needed fighting, and 13 became legend once more.